Well, I'm not going to speak from slides. That's good news and bad news. Good because I may not speak for very long. Bad because I won't know when to finish. And my colleague, Dhruv, has just spent a lot of time convincing you that you don't need servers, which makes me very sad because I want to talk about servers. Shall we talk about servers, right? All right. As practitioners of IT, businesses are looking to us and putting this responsibility on us to deliver reliable IT infrastructure, right? But like any other infrastructure out there, right, IT infrastructure is prone to failures outside our control. A fire in a data center, or a flood, or an earthquake, or other weather-related events, or massive power outages, they can all impair our IT infrastructure, and they can wreak havoc on daily business activities. They can literally grind our businesses to a halt. And when that happens, business leaders are looking at us. They're expecting us to address the unplanned outage. They're expecting us to restore critical system functionality so that the business can get on, right? And when these things happen, it's too late, you are probably looking at days, if not weeks, of time to restore functionality before the business can pick up, right? That exposes business to enormous risk. Maybe the business can't meet its SLAs. Maybe it cannot meet its contractual obligations. Maybe it has dissatisfied customers. There are delayed deliveries. So to address these unplanned outages, we must plan beforehand, and that's called a disaster recovery plan. Surprisingly, many organizations, surveys show that many organizations admit they don't have a disaster recovery plan. Some say they do have a plan, but they haven't implemented it. And some say they have implemented it, but it doesn't do enough. They would like to cover more in the DR plan. Why is that? Nobody questions the value of DR, or disaster recovery. They question the cost, the complexity, the time taken to implement DR, and the reliability of DR. So the issues are how fast can we implement DR, how much it will cost, right? And how reliable can we make it? Many organizations choose to implement DR only for their most critical applications because of this reason, in order to have some kind of availability, yet keep expenses in check. But the good news is, with the power of AWS Cloud, enterprises and organizations all over the world are able to implement DR faster, more reliably, while reducing their expenses. AWS Cloud supports many different DR strategies. Say Pilot Light, where you have only a minimal amount of infrastructure actually running, just to be able to ingest your data to meet your RPO and RTO targets. And the infrastructure is ready to scale into a full-blown, fully functional system at a moment's notice. So when you detect an outage, when your primary site is down, you start scaling up, your systems start coming up, and then you fail over, right? Or you could have hot standby, where for very low latency or downtime sensitive applications, you have the full infrastructure up and running already, and DR is just a matter of failing over, or pointing your website or your end users to the secondary site. But you have a complex IT infrastructure. There are many different kinds of applications. Which strategy should you use? Should you have only Pilot Light? Well, maybe some critical applications can't wait for the system to scale up before failing over. Should you have hot standby? That means every single server in your data center has a replica in the secondary side. Well, that sounds too expensive. What if there are applications that don't need that kind of rapid response? So the challenge is how to design a DR plan which will fit the needs of individual applications, because that's the way to save money and have the right amount of uptime, right? And this is complex. And when you implement it, it could be very time-consuming. If you are doing it manually, it could be error-prone, right? In fact, many organizations don't do DR testing, or they don't do full DR testing. It is seen as extremely disruptive to business. But an untested DR plan could be very useless. Your infrastructure may not come up at all, or it may come up, but there may be subtle errors in it, which means you end up in hotter soup than before, right? It might have been better not to have brought it up. Is there a better way? Can we do DR properly without losing hair? A related problem is migration. Again, you have a complex IT environment. You have many different applications. You have secured the OS. You have installed the applications and configured it properly. You have tuned the database. Everything works. And now you want to migrate some or all of these applications to the cloud. Do you have to do all the installation, configuration, and tuning all over again? How long would that take? Would it be reliable? Would it be perfect? As soon as we start doing manual stuff, errors creep in, right? Is there a better way? So it gives me great pleasure to invite to the stage Alexander Park, solutions architect with Vision Solutions, who is going to talk about how Vision Solutions' double-take suite of products can ease some of these problems. So AWS can increase your agility and lower your costs, and Alexander is going to talk about how to make it all faster, less error-prone, more reliable, and highly available.
Yep. Thank you, Parijat. Okay. And thank everyone for being here. Okay. So I'm Alexander from Vision Solution, and today I will share with you how you can easily migrate or protect your environment to AWS Cloud. Hence, give you the business continuity that every company needs. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm going to introduce my company, Vision Solution. We have been in the market for over 20 years, focusing and concentrating on business continuity and platform migrations. We have sold more than 250,000 licenses to major companies, even banking, insurance company, government sector, so on and so forth. Okay, we have 2,000 over global partners to help you with the solution, with the implementation over 70 countries. And of course, we are a very, very strong partnership with Amazon itself. So today, I will talk to you about double-take move, how you're going to migrate with double-take move, and how are you going to protect your environment with double-take availability and double-take DR, depending on the needs that you required. Okay, so imagine you have a infrastructure at your site, a mixed infrastructure. You have physical servers, you have virtual servers, cluster environment, external storages. Okay? Do not change your environment just because you want to set up a DR in the AWS. Okay? Let double-take consolidate all this and help you to migrate or protect to AWS with near zero downtime. Okay? And before I continue with my product, I want to share with you the success story with double-take and AWS. So recently, we just implemented one of the airlines in Malaysia dealing with domestic and international flights. Okay? We help them to protect to AWS. Okay? They have mixed environment as well, physical, virtual, running on Windows and Linux platform. Okay? So the technology used is double-take availability, and the result is great. We help them to minimize data loss, and they are very happy because in the event of a disaster, planned or unplanned downtime, we are able to facilitate the DR, bring it up in a matter of just minutes. Okay? And also another story with one of the company, oil and gas company in Singapore itself. Okay, I personally have already helped them to migrate their environment to AWS, and they are very, very happy because during the migration, we help them to eliminate the long downtime. Like earlier, what Parijat mentioned, sometimes migration can be a headache, right? So technology used is double-take move, and that's where I'm going to talk to you about it. So double-take move for migration. How do we migrate to AWS? And before I continue, I will talk to you about the migration trend. So today, when we talk about migration, is why you're going to migrate. Okay, obviously you know why. If you're going to migrate because old server, you want to consolidate different companies that merge together. Okay, maybe you want to adopt to a cloud environment like AWS. Okay, so you can consider this. And when we talk about migration, what are the common scenarios for migration? Okay, so we can actually help you to perform server-to-server migration, meaning physical to physical server, in regardless of any brand of the server. You can go with server A, brand A, to a server B, brand B. It doesn't matter. Okay, and you can of course do server-to-virtual migration. Okay, that's where everybody's going to today. In fact, because a lot of people try to cut down on their production physical server. Sorry. Okay, and we can also to help you migrate between hypervisor. So saying that today you don't like the hypervisor that you're using because due to cost or due to user friendliness. You want to migrate to maybe other hypervisor. Yes, we can help you do that. But in today's world, all this is more like a yesterday thing. Today, everybody wants to migrate to cloud because you don't have to pay the cost to maintain the server in the DR. You can let AWS handle all that. So we, DoubleTake, were able to help you to cater the migration on premises to cloud. Now, migration, speaking, may sound easy, but actually there's a lot of headaches. Okay, just like this guy over here. Okay, downtime for a migration has always been a cost for every company. When they want to migrate, it takes them hours or days. This is going to be very unproductive for your company. Okay, now, risk of failed migration. When you perform a migration, when you don't have a test environment to migrate, when you actually migrate your server across, what happens if the migration fails? And then you say, oh, I've got nothing to worry about because I have a backup, right? But when you do a backup, when is your last backup? Last week? Because backup is actually a scheduled thing. It's not a real-time thing. So DoubleTake will help you to eliminate the risk of data loss by giving you the features of test migration. Cost of migration, of course, when you lost the data, you have downtime, that is a cost to your company. Okay? And like I mentioned earlier, DoubleTake will handle any environment, different server, different hypervisor, and everything to cloud. So we avoid vendor lock-in, that is what it means. Now, this is the traditional timeline for migration. Okay? I've done this before. When I try to migrate my customer server to their data center without DoubleTake, it actually takes me a few days just to migrate, and sometimes it won't fail. So with DoubleTake Move, we eliminate the downtime clock to just minutes, meaning that instead of hours, instead of days, we can help you to migrate your server within minutes. And everything is done online. Okay? And how does it work is this. You will always have your user accessing the source server. Okay? Now, you do not want to bring down a source server just because you want to migrate. You prepare your new server, the server that you want to migrate to. Okay? And you use DoubleTake console, which I will talk about it later in my slides. You can push install DoubleTake, do an initial mirror, and let it continue to replicate any new data that's coming in. So, as you can see, your source is still up and running. Okay? There's no downtime for your source. The only downtime, when I say near zero downtime migration, is when you want to cut across to a new server. Okay, this maybe takes about 5-10 minutes. As far as I do it today, it took me about 5-10 minutes only to just cut across, and DoubleTake will basically route all your users across together with the application, the database across. Okay? That is how DoubleTake migration works. And we also help you all to migrate out of Windows Server 2003 is because, as everybody knows, Microsoft is cutting off 2003 as of this year. Okay, so how we can help you on this is that you will definitely have a user running Windows 2003 with the application, with the database, okay, data files. You just need to prepare a new server, and you need to install the application on top of it. Because you need to check. Application running on 2003 may not run on 2012. All right, you need to check with your application vendor. So if, let's say, your application is able to run on 2012, you can use DoubleTake to replicate real-time the data across to 2012. You stop the job, do a test migration. As you can see, doing a test migration, your users are still online. So you will know whether is the migration successful or not. You do not risk your production server. If, let's say, now your thing is successful, simply re-replicate back, resync the data. And DoubleTake will not resync the whole image again, or in fact, the whole data again, because we only replicate the changes. Any new changes from the source to the target. It saves you a lot of time. Okay? So let it re-replicate, and just easily swing across over and cross over to your server 2012. Okay? We also help you to route your user across. That is DoubleTake Move for migration. And now, for DoubleTake availability, this is HA DR that you want to implement. I will go straight to the pain points. Like what Parijat said earlier, having a DR, not testing it, is a headache, and it's a cost. So now, when you have a disaster, a downtime, how fast can you actually bring up your server in a DR site? How fast can you bring it up? If let's say your DR is in AWS, okay? How fast can you bring up? If let's say you say that, oh, I have a HA, okay? I have backup. I don't think you can actually use the tape backup to AWS, or in fact, sometimes tape backup can be a headache because of driver issue. So here, we help you to eliminate downtime because to bring up on a DR site, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We avoid data loss. Okay, like I said, we perform real-time byte-level replication. So we minimize a lot on data loss. Of course, we cater to hybrid data centers as well. Like I said earlier in my slides. Okay, any environment, we DoubleTake will help you to handle it. We eliminate vendor lock-in and also compliance concern. Compliance concern is meaning that a lot of companies today have the policy to test your DR site. Okay, they want to have DR drill. Okay, are you going to shut down your production server just because you want to have a DR drill? No, you do not want to impact your production server. So DoubleTake have the features for you to have a DR drill to test your DR without impacting the user. This is one of the great features that a lot of companies, they love it. Okay? So how do we do this? HA always comes with a pair of servers. The target server is actually the standby server to protect the production server. So it will always monitor the production server. Okay? At the same time, the target server will actually pull all the data from the source server, from the production server. We do not use the process in your production server is because the production server is to cater for your users. The target server is basically a standby server not doing anything. So DoubleTake technology helps you to use the target server to pull the data across. So in the event of planned or unplanned downtime, okay, DoubleTake will trigger the target server, initiate a reboot, and it will be identical with your production server. This inclusive of the host name, route your user across, whether or not you want the IP to retain or to change. Okay, it's an option. So what is the benefits of using DoubleTake Move and DoubleTake Availability? Okay, we provide real-time byte-level replication. Okay, over any distance in the LAN, no problem. We provide you the lowest RPO. We minimize downtime. And just a click of a button, you can actually migrate across. There is no need for extra configuration or any extra steps for you to migrate or to bring up your HA, your DR site. Okay, we provide data of full server protection. Okay, we are hardware or platform agnostic independence. Okay, we are optimized for WAN because we have compression built in for your replication. At the same time, we also have bandwidth throttling. So for customers who have a poor network pipe, right? If let's say you're running on 5 meg, you can just throttle it to just 1 meg for the replication. So it will not impact on your production line. Okay? And all replication comes with encryption. And we have, of course, the features of testing, DR drills, migration testing as well. When I talk about real-time replication, meaning that anything that comes in, corrupted data, virus attack, it will be replicated across. Yes, it will. That's why we have a features in DoubleTake, which is the DoubleTake Snapshot, that gives you the point-in-time recovery in case of data corruption, in case of virus attack, in case a user accidentally delete a file from the production server. So you can actually fail over to the snapshot with a 15 minutes interval. Okay, this is for a very fast HA, for a very, very low recovery time. But if let's say you have a longer recovery time, maybe more than 4 hours, then you can consider using our DoubleTake DR. This is our new product. Okay, basically, this DoubleTake DR is catered to a less critical server, maybe tier 2, tier 3 servers, where you can afford more than 4 hours downtime. Okay? Now, it can use to supplement your existing DR, use for a centralized backup scenario. I will go to that later, why. And of course, we also offer real-time replication for this product. All our products are real-time. Okay, that is why we focus more on business community and minimize data loss. Now, imagine number one. Number one is your server, your production server. Okay, and you replicate to number 2. That is the repository server. Okay, so if you're running on Windows, you need license number 1. Number 2 is given for free. Number 3, which is the recovery server, is also given for free. Okay? So how it actually works is this. You have your server, cloud, physical, virtual, okay? And you just need to prepare a repository server, okay? It can be in a cloud, it can be AWS. Prepare it there, and let DoubleTake replicate the image to that single server. So it's like a many-to-one protection, okay? And it acts like a centralized backup is because you're already replicating your server to the repository server, and you just need to back up the repository server, okay? So in terms of backup, in terms of you want to backup to tape or to disk, you don't need 3 licenses. You just maybe have 1 licenses or 1 tape LTO to backup your repository server. Okay. Now, if let's say there's a server down, for example, a physical server that went down, okay, you just easily commission a server in AWS, right? And let DoubleTake push the image across and rebuild back it for you. Okay. It's because of this process I said a customer who requires like more than 4 hours recovery time, you can use this product. Okay, so we still give you the real-time replication so you don't get data loss. Okay, for you to restore back your server. All right. Okay. I'll go into how. Okay, this is the benefit of the DoubleTake DR. We do anything to anything, meaning that physical, virtual, cloud. We do anything to anything. We also protect data or entire server. Okay, that I mentioned many times. Real-time byte-level replication, that's very important because that real-time thing is what helps minimize data loss. Okay, there is flexible recovery, optimized for when. Replication is all encrypted as well. Okay, and of course we have point-in-time recovery, which is the snapshot. Okay, now how DoubleTake works, how the technology works is this. Every HA comes in a pair, or in fact, migration, you definitely need to come in a pair. So what DoubleTake does is, DoubleTake will do an initial mirror of both the server. Okay, and any new data that comes in, okay, DoubleTake agent will basically detect it's a write of the data and it will send across to the target server real time. Okay, now if let's say there is a network latency, okay, get sent across. Okay, now let's say there's a network latency, it doesn't mean your server is down. Okay, what happened to the new data that comes in? You will actually store at your system memory. Okay, and if let's say your system memory buffer already exited, then you will go to this. You will then queue to this. Okay, you can actually set a quota for this and notification. And when your network resume, okay, DoubleTake will just send across accordingly from the memory, from the disk, and any new data that comes in. That is how our DoubleTake replication technology works. Okay? Okay, now this is the DoubleTake console that I mentioned earlier. It's a unified console to manage all your DoubleTake job. Okay, I talk about DoubleTake Move for migration. I talk about DoubleTake availability for HA and also DoubleTake DR. All these 3 products, you can just use a single console to manage it. So you don't have to have individual console for individual product. Okay, this console is great. It actually monitors the job, configures the job, okay, and triggers the failover, so on and so forth. Okay? And this console don't have to be in a production server or the target server. This console can actually be anywhere. I have configured and helped a customer in Philippines while I'm in Malaysia. As long as the console is able to connect to both servers, you are ready to go. Okay, on top of that, you are able to group the servers according to the rights of who owns the server. Okay, in tiers, in departments. So we give you the flexibility in this DoubleTake console. Now, why DoubleTake? It's because, in summary, why use DoubleTake? Okay, it's because it's a one solution for your whole entire environment. You don't need to think about, what happens if I have this application? What happens if I have that application? Okay, one product for your entire environment. Okay. We protect different tiers according to your needs, critical, non-critical server, important data, not important data, what is the RPO, RTO. According to your needs, we give you the options. Okay? One console to simplify all your management. Okay? And it's less costly for you all to learn one product compared learning many products, just because you have many different environments. So unified solution with no add-ons. Okay, this means that all the features that I mentioned, like snapshot, DR drill, migration testing, compression, bandwidth throttling, all those comes with the license you purchase. Okay, so there's no hidden cost. Okay, it's not like you buy the product and you say that, okay, I want to use snapshot, then you need to pay additional license. No, you do not. Okay, you just buy the license, everything is bundled in for you. Okay, so there's no hidden cost, and on top of that, we even give you a free 1-year maintenance. Okay, and talking about maintenance, I'm talking about our support. Okay, now double-take support is of course 24/7. Okay, because we have to cater to your server that is critical. And when you call us, there is no telephone recording saying that please press 1 for English, press 2 for this product, press 3 for double-take move, so on and so forth. No. You call us, there is a disclaimer saying that your call is being recorded, so on and so forth. And an engineer will actually pick up your call, pick up your case, and assist you on the spot, because we understand how important your server is. Now, our support guys, they are not allowed to work in support unless they have worked with Vision doing double-take more than 4 years, meaning that we do not hire fresh grad because your server is very important to us. Okay? I'm coming to the end of my slides, so if you want to know more about my double-take product, please visit our website, or you can follow us in Facebook, or you can go to YouTube for all the demo videos we have already uploaded over there. Okay? And don't forget to fill up the feedback form, because we're going to have a lucky draw later, I think 5:30 over here. Okay? So thank you, everyone, and have a good day.